doing here? What are you doing here? Luckily, Henry Handipaws came to my rescue again. Mr. Stilton, you bought yourself in a tight squeeze, he said. He yanked me right out. What a close call! Henry patted me on the back and went on his way. Then I took the class back inside. When we got to the classroom, Miss Angelpaws greeted me with a smile. She asked everyone to take a seat to listen to the next guest, the very famous actor Robert Rodentford. I rolled my eyes. I was sure he'd talk about his blockbuster movies and his yacht and all the beautiful rodents who were in love with him. In other words, I had a preconceived idea he was a snobby and silly mouse. I was wrong. He was much more than a handsome snout. Robert Rodentford talked about the volunteer work he does to help save the environment. In fact, he never talked about himself. He discussed all the ways a rodent can help protect the earth. I knew immediately that he would be fast friends. We were very different, but we both cared about the same things. I was very interested in what he had to say, but then I saw something slink by me. Sure enough, it was that sneaky, scaly class pet, Spike. My entire family had begged me not to get into any trouble, not to make a fool of myself, and not to disappoint Benjamin. But that pesky gecko had gotten loose on my watch, and I felt responsible. I looked at Spike, and he seemed to be smirking at me. A second later, he scurried across the room. Then he climbed a wall and slipped into the air conditioning duct. I decided to follow him. I just had to catch him. I had to do it for Benjamin. So I pulled myself into the dark duct. I followed Spike along the narrow passageway, above classrooms, under the gym, and into the basement, until he headed out into the hallway. I was still on my paws and knees when I bumped into her, a classy, refined rodent with her fur pulled into a neat bun. I looked at her, and she looked at me. We both yelled at the same time. "What are you doing here?" She had changed so much, but I knew it was her right away. How could I have forgotten her? It was Veronica Stiff Whiskers, my greatest rival during my school days. This was the mouse who had been so cute, so perfect, and so great at everything. It had been her voice in a loudspeaker. She was now the principal of the school. I was dumbfounded. I was trying to think of something intelligent to say when Spike scurried into an air conditioning vent again. I mumbled a silly excuse and dove in after Spike. I always made a fool of myself in front of Veronica. As I was scampering after Spike in the duct, I thought, I'm sure she thinks I grew up to be a big fool. Sigh. Where did that pesky gecko go?